Hello everyone. So today for the grant writing project, I imagined myself as an employee in Kansas City, Missouri at the World War I Museum and Memorial. This year they're celebrating their 100th anniversary since opening. And as such, in this scenario, I imagine myself applying to for a grant from the Institute of Museum and Library Services based on a speaker series over the summertime commemorating 100 years of World War I commemoration and that war's legacy today. So oftentimes, in fact, I saw in a comment from last week uh, that somebody wrote World War II is usually remembered, at least in the United States, but certainly in many other countries, as the war that kind of changed the entire world and still has a lot of global ramifications today. However, a lot of the origin stories for many conflicts still happening in the world are actually in as they say, the war to end all wars. So the speaker series that I would kind of conceptualize and pitch for the grant is about the way that we remember World War I and what has worked and what hasn't so far. What are the different ways and the importances of those different ways in commemoration? And so I would envision about 4 to 5 speakers over the course of the summer, kind of spread out, who would come and give a lecture on a particular topic pertaining to how we remember World War I and the lasting impact of a certain aspect of that war in the modern era. So, for example, someone discussing the emergence of the Polish and Ukrainian independence movements in light of the collapse of the Russian Empire and then emergence of the Russian Civil War in the Soviet Union, much of which came from the horrendous losses that Russia faced against the Germans on the battlefield. Obviously, that still has a lot of impact today with the ongoing Russo-Ukrainian war, as well as Poland's emergence as a major economic power and increasingly military power in NATO and the European Union. But beyond that, there's also the World War I era genocide of Christians in the Ottoman Empire, Greeks, Armenians, and Assyrians, and then shortly after the war ended, the Turkish War for Independence, including, most famously perhaps, with the Greeks. So how did that cast a long shadow, not just on the relationship today between Turkey and Greece, both of whom are in NATO, but with the conflicts in the southern Caucasus between Azerbaijan and Armenia, as well as the Cyprus problem. So basically, given that, the Institute for Museum and Library Services is focused on fostering widespread learning and embraces support for museums and other similar institutions, I would propose the grant, and I would request a certain payment to each speaker in the series, as well as a grant for the museum hosting the speaker series, logistics, and perhaps a donation to our research in the form of that grant. So thank you for being with me today, and I look forward to seeing what everyone else has posted.